Hi and welcome everyone. Okay, so in today's lesson, I'm going to review the exercises you had for homework in your Max book page 20, 21, and 22. Now, in the previous lesson, I have explained to you all about zero, first, and second conditionals. And now let me go over them, very quickly. What is a conditional? We said that a conditional sentence is based on the word if. So all conditional sentences are going to start with if. And there are always two parts to a conditional sentence. One part beginning with if to describe a possible situation. And جزء الثاني, the second part, which describes the consequence اللي هو we said الهدف. So conditional means حالة, and the consequence means النتيجة للحالة. So we talked about the zero, first, second conditional. The zero conditional, حكينا إنه we use a zero conditional to talk about permanent truths, such as scientific facts, general habits, and how do we form the zero conditional. A zero conditional is formed if plus the present simple, and then present simple as well. And we know that if plus the present simple is 50% possibility. For example, if you eat a lot, you put on weight. So this is a scientific fact, and it's a true permanent truth. We also said the first conditional talks about realistic situations in the present or future. Again, first conditional بيحكي عن realistic situations, أشياء حقيقية حاليا أو بالمستقبل, in the present or in the future. And كيف بنكون, or how do we, what is the structure of the first conditional? We said that it is if plus this present simple, and then we have will plus the verb, or can plus the verb, or must plus the verb, and this is in the imperative form. And we said the second conditional talks about improbable or impossible situations in the present or future. إيش يعني improbable؟ يعني second conditional بحكي عن حالات يعني almost مستحيلة. طيب, and يعني حاليا أو بالمستقبل. And how do we form the second conditional? If plus past simple, and then we have would or could plus the verb. Okay, so now, which I explained everything on this page, let's complete the exercises on page 21 in your Max book. Please follow along, read the sentences with me, and make sure your answers are correct. A. Complete each sentence below with the best answer. 1. Now we have if or when. I am late to work, my boss gets very angry. That is why I am always on time. So here we have our zero conditional. And the zero conditional, like I said, talks about permanent truth, or a habit. If I am late to work, my boss gets very angry. That's why I am always on time. 2. If or when I leave work, I usually go to the fitness center to work out. Here we cannot say if I leave work, because we do leave work. So it's going to be when I leave work, I usually go to the fitness center to work out. Now, this is also zero conditional because it's a habit, something like a routine, something you do constantly. 3. If or when he eats, he tries to choose healthy. We're not going to say if, so we say when he eats, he tries to choose healthy foods. 4. His car is very reliable, but if it breaks down, he has any problems, he calls the auto club. 5. Her car is terrible. It always breaks down. And when it breaks down or she has any problems, she calls the mechanic. Exercise B. Here it says, using the words in brackets, complete the text below with the appropriate conditional form. Now, in this text, we are talking about imaginary. If I won $180 million. So نحكي عن situation مش حقيقية, situation يعني خيالية, or almost يعني شوي يعني مستحيلة إنه نربح 180 مليون dollars. Did you hear about the guy who won $180 million in the lottery? باليا نصيب. If I won that much. Now, when we are using second conditional, we are going to use would or could. So, did you hear about the guy who won $180 million in the lottery? If I won that much money, I would quit my job the next day. I would travel around the world and would stay in the most luxurious hotel. If I want anything, I will buy it. And if I saw a beautiful Mercedes that I wanted, I would buy it. And if I wanted to stay in a beautiful hotel, in the beautiful hotel, and the hotel was, we changed be to was because it's in the past, I would think of buying it. يعني هاي كل الفقرة عن أشياء خيالية. يعني إذا أنا ربحت 180 مليون دولار، أوكي، بترك شغلي، بسافر حوالين العالم، بقعد في أفخم وأغلى أوتيلات، وإذا بدي أي إشي بشتريه، إذا شفت أحلى مرسيدس رح أشتريها، وإذا بدي أضلني في أفخم هوتيل والهوتيل كان مليان رح أشتري الهوتيل. I would start a charity. رح أبلش في مؤسسة خيرية وأساعد الفقراء and help those in need. And if I came across any poor people, I would be the first to raise money for them. So هاي الفقرة كلها عن situation خيالية. Okay, so we used would. Exercise C. Put the verb into the correct form. If I found $100 note on the street, I would give it to charity. 2. They would be very angry if you didn't visit them. Now here we have not in visit, so we know that it's didn't visit. 3. If the company offered me the job, I think I would take it. 4. I'm sure Liz would lend you some money. I would be very surprised if she refused. 5. Many people would be out of work if that factory closed down. 6. If she sold her car, she wouldn't get much money for it because we have not in get. So, and we are using the if clause, we would say if she sold her car, she wouldn't get enough money. 7. They are expecting us. They would be very disappointed if we didn't come because we have not in come. 8. Would George be very angry if I took his bicycle without asking? 9. Anne gave me this ring. She would be terribly upset if I lost it. 10. If someone walked in here with a gun, I would be very frightened. 11. What would happen if you didn't go to work tomorrow? 12. I'm sure she will understand if you explain the situation to her. Okay, exercise D. Make questions. Now here we are making questions. They're giving you a sentence, and from the sentence make a question, depending on what the sentence is talking about. 1. Perhaps one day a millionaire will ask you to run her business. So تخيلوا يوم من الأيام حدا كتير غني مليونير سألكم إنه تاخدوا تاخدوا الشغل and run it. So how do we form it into a question? What would you do if a millionaire would ask you to run her business? 2. Perhaps one day you will lose your passport. تخيل يوم من الأيام الباسبورت تبعكم يضيع. كيف بدنا نحولها ل question لسؤال؟ بنحكي what would you do if you lost your passport? 3. Perhaps one day someone might hurt your feelings. تخيل يوم من الأيام حدا يجرح شعوركم. كيف بدنا نحول للسؤال what would you do if someone hurt your feelings? 4. Perhaps one day your car will be stolen. نتخيل يوم من الأيام سيارتك أو سيارتك انسرقت. What would you do if your car got stolen? هيك بنحولها إلى السؤال. What would you do if your car got stolen? يعني إيش رح تعملوا إذا سيارتكم انسرقت؟ أو كيف بتحسوا؟ 5. Perhaps one day a car will hit yours. تخيلوا يوم من الأيام سيارة تانية تضرب سيارتكم. إيش رح تسووا أو إيش رح تحسوا؟ What would you do if a car hit yours? هيك بنحولها إلى question. Next we have page 22 in your Max book, pronunciation. هذا كتير سهل. We took it many times, but just to review for our final exam. Now here we have the pronunciation rules for S, Z, and IZ. يعني الكلمات اللي يوم نتهجاهم رح نسمع S أو Z or IZ. So بدنا نحكي الكلمة. I'm going to pronounce each word. وأنتي أو أنت try to choose under S ولا Z ولا IZ. So the plural S is pronounced S after P, T, K, O, and F. So cups. So يوم الحرف الأس بنحكي S بعد الأحرف P, T, K, O, and F. For example, cups, hats. شايفين P, S إجت بعد ال P, so cups. Hats, ال S إجت بعد ال T, hats. Cooks, ال S إجت بعد ال K. Myths, ال S إجت بعد ال TH. And cliffs, ال S إجت بعد ال F. So the plural S is pronounced Z after the following sounds. كيف بنلفظ الكلمات اللي آخرها S بس بنلفظها بالزي اللي هم بعد D, after G, after V, after O, after L, after M, after N, and after N. I'm sorry, G. So cards. So do you hear? So ال S إجت بعد ال Z بعد I'm sorry, ال S came after the D, so نلفظه Z. Cards, rugs, ال S came after G, so we pronounce it Z. Hives, ال S إجت إيش after the VE, so we pronounce it Z. Clothes, we pronounce the S as Z here. Deals, the S is pronounced as Z. Plums, el S came after M, so it's pronounced Z. Fans, S came after N, so it's a Z. بس احنا بنكتب we write S, but when we pronounce it يوم نتهجاها it sounds like a Z. Kings, the S came after the G, so we pronounce it a Z. Now, the third rule, القانون الثالث, the plural S is pronounced IZ after the following sounds. يعني نلفظ الأس IZ is بعد هدول S, Z. Let me read these to you. Checks. Checks وين بروح؟ Is it S ولا Z ولا IZ? Checks. Checks. You can hear the S, so it's under S. Girls, Z. Places, places. So we have ES, so it's going to be after the IZ. Products, after the S, underneath the S column. Boys, you hear the boys, the S is pronounced as a Z, so تحت Z. Closes, closes. The shop closes at 9 p.m. Closes is under IZ. Minutes, under S. Lives, under Z. Sandwiches, under IZ. Graduates, under S. Hours, under Z. James's, James's. This is James's book. James's under IZ. Wants, we can hear the S. Earns, we can hear the Z. Faces, we can hear the IZ. Hates, S. Loves, Z. Phrases, سامعين phrases, you hear the IZ, so it's under the IZ. Cooks, paints, SS. Damages, under the Z. Lessons, under the Z. Things, under the Z. So here you see we write an S, but التهجي is S sometimes, or Z, or IZ. Very easy, كتير سهل, بس when you pronounce it, just نركز كيف بدنا نتهجى الكلمة عشان نعرف like say it بالامتحان احكوا checks, say it in your mind, checks. وهيك اسمعوا آخرها إيش S, Z, or IZ. Minutes, we can hear the S. Hours, you can hear the Z. Okay? B. How is the S in the following words pronounced? يعني كيف ال S بالكلمات هدول؟ S ولا Z ولا IZ. Acts, سامعين ال S. Forms, Z. Goes, Z. Tears, Z, مش S. Months, S. Fists, fist, S. Crutches, IZ. Stairs, Z. Shoulders, Z. Voices, voices. يوم ندقق على voices, you hear the IZ at the end. And the last part, speaking. Read the following conversation and complete the missing part in your own words. هدول in your own words. Let's see the conversation, الحوار between Kate and Alan. Have you finished reading Lord of the Files? Question. Alan said, yes, I have. It's not a very happy story. Kate said, no, but it does make you think, doesn't it? Alan said, yes, it does. Do you know anything about the writer William Golding? Kate said, yes, I have heard radio programs about him. He was born in 1911 and he died in 1993. So here we have Alan said, Kate said, he was a student at Oxford. The first job he did was in the theater. He was an actor. So إيش رأيكم إذا كيت حكت هيك؟ إيش رأيكم Alan asked her? What did Alan ask? So Alan must have asked her, where did he attend university? يعني وين راح الجامعة؟ عشان هي حكت he was a student at Oxford. Oxford, one of the biggest universities. So the question is going to be, where did he attend university? Alan, this is what I know about William Golding. Okay, so that is the end. Pretty easy. Just when you pronounce the words, do you hear pronounce, pronounce? We hear the S. Words, we hear the Z at the end. Pay attention. انتبهوا على الكلمات when you pronounce them. And pronounce them شوي شوي, and whether it's S, Z, or IZ. That's it for today's lesson. I hope you got a better understanding. Have a great weekend, and until our next lesson.